Hi, Debbie Chu here from Chew on Vegan. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I am a registered nurse and I eat a plant-based diet with a focus on protein because as a woman in her late 60s, I need more protein. As we age, especially after the age of 60, we do not absorb protein like we once did when we were younger. So we do have to increase our protein. If we want to maintain our muscle and or build muscle, which is what I'm trying to do right now because I want to be in the best shape I can be in as I age so that I can remain being independent, being able to drive, carry my groceries in, open a jar of pickles. Today I'm going to show you 3 recipes, a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. And this isn't technically a what I eat in a day, but these are 3 meals that are really easy. They're high in protein, they're high in fiber. I think it's really important not only to increase our protein, but let's increase our fiber. Fiber is such an important part of your diet. It helps with keeping us regular. If you're having trouble with constipation, then increasing your fiber will definitely help. Drinking lots of water as well. But fiber is what makes you feel full. It's great for those gut bacteria that we want, those good healthy bacteria in our gut, which is where most of our immune system does live. I just like to have a well-balanced diet, including protein, fats, carbs, and fiber. Right now I am in a fat loss phase, so I am focusing on losing fat and maintaining the muscle that I've worked so hard to build. So I'm going to be making a high protein pancake recipe for breakfast. I love pancakes. I don't make them a lot, but it's great for a weekend breakfast. And then I'll be making a really delicious tofu bowl full of greens and veggies and just a really satisfying meal with lots of fiber and of course protein. And then for dinner, I'm going to be making a creamy mushroom one-pot pasta that is going to be very satisfying. I love a pasta, and this one, as well as all my recipes, are gluten-free because I do have celiac, so I need to remain 100% gluten-free, and this recipe is gluten-free and really fits the bill as far as fiber and protein. So I hope you enjoy these recipes. As always, the full recipes will be in the description box for you along with all the macros. And please check out the rest of the items in my description box, all the services that I provide, all my discount codes. So please also check out my Amazon storefront. It has everything in there, most everything that I either eat or use. So if you're looking for something, check there. And if you are into podcasts, I do a fun podcast with my BFF Joey from Plant-Based Dads. And I'll leave a link to the podcast down below. All right, let's get started. So for the pancake recipe, I'm going to start with a half a banana, and we're just going to mash this up. I'll be adding some oat flour. I've got some flaxseed. I will also be adding some baking powder, some Ceylon cinnamon, which in my opinion is the best cinnamon, and then I have some vanilla bean powder. If you don't have vanilla bean powder, just use vanilla extract and you'll just double what I suggest. It's super easy. And then we're going to add some plant-based milk. So this is just a basic pancake recipe. So I'm going to start by mashing up my banana, and you want it to get like liquefied. Oh, and don't be concerned about this thing on my arm, these 2 things. They were pre-cancer, but they froze them and they'll shrink and go away. It's all good, but if you were wondering what that was, that is what that is. And remember to get your skin checks. It's very important, especially as we get older. Because I don't know about you, when I was younger, it was laying out in the sun with baby oil. Yeah, it was bad. So I like to get it about like this, where it's really well mashed. All right, I've got my whisk out, and I'm going to start with the 1 cup of soy milk. And I prefer soy milk because it is higher in protein. So we're going to mix this together, and then we'll add in our flour. If we need to add more plant milk, we will. If we need to add a little bit more oat flour, we will. Just get the consistency that you like. So we'll add in our oat flour. You can grind your own. I just happened to get this at a grocery store that had a really good sale, so I got a couple bags. And then we're gonna add in our flax, baking powder, and cinnamon, and our vanilla. And this will thicken up, as you know, as it sits. So if it's a little bit thin, I'm okay with it because I know it's gonna thicken up real quick. So that's it for the pancake. Let's go over to the stove. We're gonna cook these up real quick, and then I'll show you the delicious high protein little frosting we're gonna put on top. You want a really good nonstick skillet. This is my Always pan. I love it. There's a link in my Amazon storefront for this. And we're gonna make, I think I can make 2 pancakes, so we're gonna make them pretty big. I think you know how to cook a pancake. I think you know. Dry around the edges, gets a little bubbly, you flip it, cook it for a couple minutes on the other side. So I'll come back when I've got the pancakes done, and then I'm going to show you this quick little frosting we're going to put on. So we got our pancakes, came out nice. I've got about 50 grams of Greek yogurt in here, vegan of course, and I'm going to start adding a little bit of protein powder till I get a nice consistency like a frosting, and then we're going to put that on the pancakes. And since I'm measuring everything, because I'm in a fat loss phase, I'm going to be doing it on the scale. So I've got a scoop. And let's see what this kind of consistency looks like. Yeah, I think this is going to work out well. All right, I'm going to just continue mixing this, getting it all combined, and then we're going to put it on the pancakes, and I'll show you how I finish it up. All right, so we have our pancakes. We have our delicious little frosting. This is the consistency you want, like a thick frosting. And then we're just going to put it on the bottom layer, and then we'll put it on the top layer. So you have like a layer cake here. And I probably won't use it all, but then you have the rest you can just have as a snack later if you'd like. And then you can decorate it with whatever you'd like. I'm just going to use some blueberries. You could do banana, strawberry, but I really love blueberries. Get all those antioxidants. Yeah, and that's your yummy little frosted pancakes. And I got this idea from, I think her name is the Vegan Babe, and she did a little bit different, but I really like the concept, so I'm going to give her credit, but I put my own spin on it, as I always do. All right, let's give it a taste. All right, we got a finished product here. I already took a bite, so I cheated, but I'll take another bite. Get a blueberry on there, and you just got your delicious fluffy pancake. It's so good. That vanilla protein powder on top of those delicious banana, just a hint of banana in the pancake, it goes perfect. You can taste the cinnamon. It's just a really good combo. So I hope you give these a try. So the recipe, full recipe, and the macros will be in the description box. For the tofu salad bowl, of course, we need to make our tofu. I'm just gonna make my simple, easy peasy air fryer tofu, and I use it in my oven. I have an air fryer setting. I do it at 425 for 15 minutes. On the smaller air fryers, the standalone units, I would do it at 400 for the same amount of time. And I use the same seasonings. I use garlic salt, onion powder, I got smoked paprika. I have smoked paprika, I've got nutritional yeast. I just use this container. This was my panna cheesa, but there's nutritional yeast in there. Gives it a little bit extra protein. So generously seasoned. There's no right or wrong way. It's whatever you feel. What do they say? What do they say? Measure with your heart. That's what you do. So I just sprinkle a little bit on here. And the nutritional yeast gives it a nice flavor, but it also gives it a nice little crusty. It gives it a nice little crust on there. Then I just do this. And then I do it again. And then I just season again and toss. I'm gonna throw it on a lined baking sheet. And in the meantime, I will show you how I make the salad, what I put in it. And you want to make sure that you put these in a single layer. You don't want them touching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do 6 across and 8 down. And that gives me about 48 pieces. Well, it does give me 48 pieces. And then I use 12 for each serving, 12 pieces. And that's just how I divide it up. Now I have tofu for a few more meals. All right, I'm just going to continue doing this and getting this in the oven. All right, let's work on that salad. As you can see, my tofu's all done over here, nice and crispy. And so I've got some romaine, arugula. I've got a little coleslaw mix, red and green cabbage and carrots. And then we're going to add in there tomatoes, garbanzo beans. I've got some apple, avocado, onion, got some hemp seeds. And I'm a firm believer that you need some healthy fat in your diet. It helps you absorb your nutrients, and it just is another thing that helps you feel a little bit satisfied. Yes, it's a little higher in calorie density, but 2 tablespoons of avocado is not going to set you over the edge. So I'm just going to add all this into the bowl. And you can add whatever ingredients you want, whatever kind of veggies. You can put broccoli in here, whatever you want. All right, so I'm gonna just toss this around. Just kind of get everything combined. I like to put the avocado on top. So I've got my dressing, give it a good shake. And I'm gonna use 1/3 of this. You don't need to drench your salad. Drizzle is great. And if you thoroughly mix your salad, then guess what? Everything will get dressing on it. So we're going to just really mix this well. You can put salt and pepper on here if you want. Now I just sprinkle some of the hemp seeds on there. Add my avocado, and then we'll add our tofu, and then we're ready. All right, we have our nice big salad here. Now this looks like a lot, but it's not very deep. And this is very satisfying. I've got my veggies, I've got some healthy fats, I've got my protein. So I'm gonna dig in, a little bit of everything. Love the apple. And with the two tablespoons of dressing, it is plenty. Everything's got dressing on it. It's not overpowering, it's perfect. So remember, drizzle your dressing, do not drench. It'll save you a lot of calories and you still get the flavor. All right, we've got one more to go. We're gonna do that 1-pot pasta. So let's get started on that. So I've got a nice big pot here, a little bit of water in here on medium heat. I'm going to add some onion, some garlic, and I'm just going to saute these for 3 minutes or so till they start to get soft. So the onions are just now starting to get soft. I'm going to add in 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms, whatever kind you like. If you like the white button. These are cremini, those are my favorite. And we're just gonna let these saute until they're released their moisture and they cook down. Just gonna add a little bit of water for when they first start, but soon they're going to release their moisture. So I'm just gonna let these cook down and then we'll start adding everything else. All right, this is exactly what you want it to look like. They've cooked down, they've released your moisture. Now we're gonna add some spices. I've got onion powder, I've got some dry thyme, and a little bit of red pepper flakes. I'm gonna add in 2 cups of water and 1 cube of not chicken bouillon. I'm gonna add a cup of soy milk. Give this a stir. And we wanna bring this up to a boil. So I'm just gonna put the lid on and bring that up to a boil. All right, it's starting to boil. I'm gonna turn it down to medium. Then I'm gonna add a box of organic green lentil penne pasta, gluten-free, high in protein. I'm gonna put the whole box in. Then I'm gonna stir it. And you wanna make sure that all the noodles are covered with liquid. If not, put a little bit more water in. Okay, we want these to cook. I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna just do a little bit more water. There we go. Now we're just gonna let this cook, medium heat, for whatever, 9-10 minutes, till whatever the package says. If this says 7 to 9, we're gonna go probably 9 to 10. And then we'll add the last few ingredients. Once it comes back up to a boil, then I'll start the timer. And then you just wanna make sure you stir it every once in a while so nothing sticks to the bottom. All right, pasta's cooked. Then we're gonna add a few additional ingredients. We're gonna add some nutritional yeast. Stir that in. And you can see how it's gotten a little thicker, creamier, and it will continue to do so. Then we're gonna add in some spinach, chopped spinach. Want to get our greens in. And then just a little bit of lemon juice to brighten up the flavor. And then we're just going to turn the heat off and just let the spinach wilt for a bit, a few minutes, and then we'll serve it up. And it'll kind of set as it cools. So we'll just put the lid on and let it sit for a bit. All right, here we go, finished product. Looks amazing. I know it's amazing because I've had it before. It's hot. Perfect. Before you serve, you might want to check to see if it needs any salt. I think it's just perfect the way it is. I mean, there's salt in that no chicken bouillon, and that's plenty. And if you wanted to add a few red pepper flakes on top, if you want a little hotter, and I just finished it up with some fresh parsley. So these 3 recipes are just examples of what you could be eating for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. This is by no means a full day of eating, because I think this only comes to a little over 1,000 calories for these 3 recipes. So you're gonna have quite a bit of calories left over. For me right now, being in a fat loss phase, I'm eating 1,500 calories. So I have plenty of calories left over for my chocolate yogurt dessert, which is gonna give me another 30 grams of protein. So I'll be well within my goals for protein and calories. And these recipes are super easy, and I hope you add them to your rotation. Just a reminder, the recipes will be in the description box below, along with all the resources I offer and my discount codes and my Amazon storefront. And if you haven't heard about the Hume Body Pod that I'm using to help track my fat loss and my muscle gains, then there's a link for that down below so you can get more information. It has been a real game changer for me, and I highly recommend it. It's not just a scale, it's more than just a number. You get a whole breakdown of your fat and your muscles from your arms, your torso, your legs. So you really get comprehensive information. If you like this video, if you learned something, please give it a like and share it with your friends. If you've made it this far in the video, please comment below with August, because we are in the last month of summer here, so let's celebrate it. So comment with August, and that way I know you made it to the end with me, and I really appreciate it. Remember that all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate. Until next time, thank you.